Experimental weaponry destroys an entire island and turns some of the people into the undead. And while the whole world trembles in horror, one woman is ready to go through this hell for the sake of the man she loves. Ava and Mitch Newman are celebrating their wedding. They look so deeply in love and incredibly happy together. Our heroes have absolutely no idea that a real, life-changing catastrophe is about to happen to them very soon. The United States accidentally detonates an experimental weapon off the east coast of Tasmania. The city of Hobart is completely destroyed. Amid pressure from the UN, protests are intensifying in Washington. And the Prime Minister of Australia is calling for the US President to be held accountable. Ava is on a plane, chatting with her elderly seatmate. They are discussing this horrific tragedy. Residents of the island, who were not directly at the epicenter of the explosion, were diagnosed with irreversible brain damage that led to their deaths. The military is reporting that they are looking for volunteers who can help with the cleanup of the disaster's aftermath. Ava listens carefully to this appeal and arrives at an American military base. She reports that she works as a physical therapist and wants to volunteer to join the Australian military operation. However, the woman is doing this not only for humanitarian reasons. South of Hobart lies the town of Woodbridge. Her husband, Mitch, was there on a business trip during the disaster, and Ava is very worried about him. Our protagonist is sent to the northern part of the island, quite far from Woodbridge. She will have to locate bodies and warn soldiers about danger. And there is indeed a grave danger lurking on the island. Some of the people who were previously diagnosed as brain dead are now regaining their motor functions and turning into the undead, and many of them are becoming extremely aggressive. The soldiers must urgently find and eliminate such undead threats. Ava agrees to help, in the desperate hope of seeing her husband again very soon. A squad of volunteers sets off on their journey. They want to understand why not everyone comes back to life and how to properly behave in case of an encounter with the undead. The military advises using signal flares and calling for help. The volunteers pair up into groups of 2. Ava and her partner are inspecting one of the abandoned houses. Once, an ordinary happy family lived here, but now this place looks deserted. Ava looks out the window and sees the former owner of this house. She is lying near a garden hose and shows no signs of life. Her family is lying nearby. Ava's partner is crying and says that she must return to her children. Someone starts feeling nauseous. Ava teams up with a man named Clay and they continue their work together. This guy doesn't even use a mask. Clay is convinced that it's pointless. This is emotionally very difficult work, but Ava and her partner are coping well. In the most difficult moments, Ava remembers her wedding to Mitch. All the volunteers take a lunch break. Upon learning that Ava works as a physical therapist, Clay asks her to give him a massage. At that moment, for some reason, our heroine remembers that she and her husband had really wanted a child. Ava and Clay find someone's large garage. One of the risen dead is standing there. He doesn't look aggressive. Clay lights a signal flare. A minute later, the military arrives. Helicopters are flying in the sky at night. Ava is carefully examining a map of Tasmania. She is interested in the road to Woodbridge. The woman hears some noise, goes downstairs, and realizes that the group of volunteers has decided to throw a party. Taking advantage of the moment, she tries to escape, but one of the soldiers stops her. Ava lies, saying she just went out for some air and then decides to join the party. However, she is not in the mood to dance and have fun. Clay offers Ava a drink. After a shot of alcohol, the woman admits that she only came here for her husband. She is very worried that Mitch might have also become a risen dead. At night, Ava has nightmares about aggressive zombies. She looks anxiously at the fire outside the window. During the day, Ava and Clay return to their difficult work. They find a fancy motorcycle in one of the garages. Alas, there are a lot of bodies there too. Clay calmly drinks a beer, and our heroine suggests that he abandon his squad and ride across all of Tasmania to find Mitch. Clay agrees without hesitation and starts looking for 2 helmets. Ava notices a risen dead and attempts to communicate with it, but Clay firmly demands that his partner not do anything stupid. They escape together on the motorcycle with the helmets and begin their long and dangerous journey. They ride as fast as possible and quite extremely so that the soldiers don't catch them. When military vehicles appear on the road, our heroes immediately hide. Sometimes the risen dead cross their path, but our heroes stubbornly continue their journey. Ava and Clay get caught in a blinding dust storm caused by severe fires, and they struggle to find protective masks inside one of the abandoned buildings. The air in this place looks thick and red after a powerful explosion, and the surrounding landscapes are very reminiscent of grim, post-apocalyptic scenes. Ahead, even more fires can be seen that still haven't been extinguished. Ava and Clay stop at an abandoned gas station to rest for a bit. They wash up with some tap water, and our heroine kindly agrees to give her partner a massage because his shoulder is hurting him very badly. Suddenly, a zombie appears in the room. It looks very aggressive, but fortunately our heroes are saved by a lone soldier named Riley. Ava admits that she is actively looking for her husband, and Clay is currently acting as her driver. Riley locks Ava in the restroom so she won't run away, and interrogates Clay. A few hours later, Ava falls asleep right on the floor and dreams of her beloved husband. Soon Riley wakes her up and informs her that Clay has escaped. Riley offers to take Ava to Woodbridge if she promises him that she won't run away like Clay did. Our heroine gives the soldier her promise and gets into his car. On the way, Riley tells Ava about his difficult job. However, Ava soon realizes that this soldier is not taking her to Woodbridge, but to his own home. Riley says that they should have dinner together. Over dinner, our characters talk about their families and how much their lives have changed since this catastrophe. Riley confesses that his wife, Katie, was pregnant and was due to give birth to a boy in a couple of weeks. Alas, she also happened to be near the epicenter of the explosion. Riley was on a business trip on another continent at the time. When he returned home, it was already too late. Riley asks Ava to take off her wedding ring, put on Katie's clothes, use her perfume, and dance with him. Ava realizes that this man has severe emotional trauma, but she agrees in the hope that he will eventually take her to Woodbridge. Just in case, the woman hides a large knife under her pillow. Riley enters the bedroom, and he and Ava begin to dance to Katie's favorite song. At this moment, Ava remembers her wedding dance with Mitch. Riley calls our heroine Katie and confesses his love to her. Suddenly, he notices that Ava is not wearing his wife's wedding ring and becomes very aggressive. Riley demands that our heroine start over, but this time do everything right. Ava refuses to take off her wedding ring and tries to escape. She locks herself in a room and notices the body of the pregnant Katie in bed, surrounded by an altar. It turns out that Riley's wife has also become a living dead. Riley shouts to Ava that the baby inside Katie is still alive and kicking actively. Our heroine jumps out of the window and runs to the shed. There she finds a multitude of risen dead. They are chained up and there are various notes near them. It turns out that Riley has been studying their behavior for a long time, hoping to help his wife. Riley tells Ava that some people return to life only because they have unfinished business. Ava realizes that Riley has completely lost his mind and pretends to be Katie in order to calm him down. She plays her role well, and the soldier hugs her tenderly, but a second later he says that she ruined everything and he won't be able to forgive her. Ava has to use her knife to save herself. Our heroine escapes in Riley's car and notices that Katie has come outside and is gently stroking her stomach. Ava remembers her past again. It turns out that conflicts arose in their marriage due to an inability to conceive a child. Because of this, Ava cheated on her husband. Mitch found out about it shortly before he left for Tasmania. Ava finally reaches Woodbridge. This town looks completely abandoned. It seems like there isn't a single living person here. Our heroine continues her journey on foot. She walks along the highway by the ocean coast with an axe in her hands. Suddenly, a reanimated zombie lunges at her. Startled, Ava trips and drops her axe. She tries to hide in an abandoned bus and fiercely fights off the zombie. The woman manages to defeat it with great difficulty. Ava continues her journey. She wants to rest in an old camper van, but before doing so, she drags out the 4 people who were living there previously. The woman falls asleep in the van, but wakes up in the middle of the night to some eerie sounds. It turns out that one of the bodies has actually transformed into a living zombie and is now digging a grave for itself and the other 3 people. This zombie notices Ava, but it does not attack her and calmly continues digging the grave. Ava decides to help him do it. To put the poor zombie out of its misery, she uses a shovel. When all the work is finished, the woman drives on. Eventually, Ava reaches the hotel where Mitch was staying. With sadness and horror, the woman sees that her husband did not survive the catastrophe. Moreover, before he died, he had cheated on Ava with his colleague. By the way, Mitch never turned into a zombie. Presumably, he had no unfinished business left on this earth. This makes Ava very angry. She wishes Mitch would wake up so they could have a proper talk about what happened in their married life. Clay appears in the hotel room. It turns out he had been looking for her the whole time. Ava and Clay sit on the seashore and tell each other their stories. The woman confesses to her affair because she couldn't have a child with Mitch. Clay tells Ava that his wife and daughter want nothing to do with him. He came here as a volunteer to prove to his family that he is not selfish. Our heroes have a truly wonderful evening together. They drink quite a lot, swim in the pool, fool around, and that very same night, they finally start a romantic relationship. In the morning, Ava and Clay drag Mitch's body onto a motorboat, set it on fire, and send it out to sea. After that, they head north. Suddenly, our heroes meet Katie on the road. Judging by appearances, she has already given birth. Katie turns and slowly walks away from the living people. At that moment, Ava and Clay hear a baby crying and find her newborn child in some stone ruins nearby. He was born alive and completely healthy, and looks nothing like the undead. Ava picks up the precious baby and cries out with pure joy.